What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new live stream. Hope everyone had a good weekend. It is the end of September. Tomorrow is October. About to go through some holidays. Obviously, Halloween in October, Thanksgiving, November, and then obviously Christmas in December. And then it'll be 2026 before you know it. But what's up, Dragonfire? But this live shouldn't be too long. It'll be NFL Week 4 review, Week 5 picks, my NBA standings predictions since basketball's this month. Might talk about baseball playoffs as well. But yeah, lots of good stuff. But let's get into the NFL games. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, as we always do. This game was a snooze fest. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But Sam Darnold's been rock solid for the Seahawks. 242 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Walker leaves them in rushing. Jackson Smith was quiet in the first half, but then got it going in the second half. Four catches, 79 yards. A.J. Barner with a touchdown. Seattle looked really dominant until the end of the game. Seattle can definitely make the playoffs. Kyler Murray, rough game. 27 of 41, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions, Marvin Harrison juggled the ball and just ended up lateraling it to the other team. Just Kyler and MHJ just not on the same page whatsoever. He had 5 carries for 41 rushing yards. MHJ had like the worst first half I've ever seen from a wide receiver. But turned it around in like the fourth quarter, 6 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Amari, however you say that name, he had the other touchdown. They were missing their top 2 corners, and Will Johnson, and I forgot the other guy's name. But yeah, secondary was struggling a lot. Cardinals play the Titans this week. If they don't win that game, then there's going to be some serious issues. But then the international game, Vikings versus the Steelers. Vikings were very sloppy in this game. Very disappointed with how they played. They did get back into it, but it was too little too late. Carson Wentz, not a good game. 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Jordan Mason led the way in rushing. Jefferson, 10 catches, under 26 yards, no touchdowns. Addison came back, which is huge. He had a solid game, 4 catches, under 14 yards. Xavier Scott with a touchdown. Jalen Naylor with the other touchdown. Adam Thielen really hasn't done much. Then the defense did what they could. Vikings O-line's a bit banged up, which is unfortunate. But I still think they can make the playoffs because the NFC is wide open. But we'll see. Aaron Rodgers was solid in this game, 18 of 22, 200 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, 19 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns for rushing. DK Metcalf, 5 catches, 126 yards, and a touchdown. He was very good. Defense was a lot better for Pittsburgh. They're 3-1. They have a legit chance to. They're probably the favorites to win the North now, given what's going on with Baltimore. Obviously, Cincinnati's they don't have a quarterback right now, and their defense not that good to begin with. And the Browns are the Browns. But moving on to the Falcons versus the Commanders. Falcons bounce back. They got a much-needed win here. They beat the Commanders. At home, Commanders still without Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota, 16 of 27, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Chris Rodriguez led the way in rushing yards. They're also without Terry McLaurin this game. Debo, 6 catches, 72 yards and a touchdown. Luke McCaffrey with a touchdown. And the defense, just not that good. Mike Sainristil with an interception. Trey Amos is pretty solid. They picked up Darnell Savage, who was caught by the Jaguars. And then the Falcons, Michael Penix, 20 of 26, 313 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Much better game. Bijan obviously led the way in rushing with a rushing touchdown. Drake London, 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Pitts, 5 catches, 70 yards and a touchdown. And then the defense was all right. Xavier Watts had an interception. Good for him. Yeah, Falcons 2-2. Both these teams 2-2. Then we're moving on to the Giants and the Chargers. Giants get their first win of the year, but unfortunately came with a price. Malik Neighbors, absolutely devastating, man. Tore his ACL. He is done for the year. Giants just can't get a break, man. Russ played like 1 snap for whatever reason. I don't know. But Jackson Dart made his debut. So, yeah, the future is bright for the Giants. They just need a competent coaching staff. Jackson Dart, 13 of 20, 111 yards and a touchdown. Cam Skattebo, 25 carries for 79 yards. Jackson Dart with a rushing touchdown. Darius Slayton led the way in receiving. Blake Neighbors had 2 catches. Theo Johnson, 3 catches, 17 yards and a touchdown. The defense played pretty well. Andrew Phillips with an interception. And Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy, with an interception. So Giants get their first win. Chargers get their first loss. Rough game for Herbert. 23 of 41, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Marion Hampton led the way in rushing with a rushing touchdown. Quentin Johnson, 8 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. He's playing very well this season. This is definitely a trap game for the Chargers. Obviously, not having Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater definitely doesn't help. That MetLife turf is awful. Like, it is really bad. The Houston Texans shut out the Tennessee Titans. Now, this game was a lot closer than you think. It was like 6-0 at one point. The problem was, like, the Titans could not freaking kick a field goal for whatever reason. Don't know what was going on there. But, yeah, Titans need to clean house. Their coach is an idiot. Doesn't know what he's doing. But, yeah, the Titans need to fire everybody on that coaching staff. This team is horrible. Cam Ward is good. But like I said before, his supporting cast sucks. 10 completions out of 26, 108 yards, no touchdowns, but an interception. Really struggling. Terrible supporting cast for Cam Ward. Tony Pollard, 14 carries, 64 yards. And Alik Ayomanar, really the only good receiver that he has right now. 2 catches, 44 yards. Bradley's washed. And Jeff Simmons is probably going to request a trade at some point because, they're just wasting his time at this point. Just leave, bro. And then Texans, CJ Stroud, probably his best game of the season so far. 22 of 28, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Marks led the way in rushing with a touchdown. Nico Collins obviously led the way in receiving. Marks with a receiving touchdown. Jaden Higgins, rookie receiver out of Iowa, with the touchdown. And defense is obviously very good. 2 sacks on the day for Danielle Hunter. But yeah, Texans have a good defense. Probably help them hang around in games. But still, the offense is not very good. And they traded away Cam Robinson for whatever reason. Okay, Eagles, Buccaneers. Eagles get their first win against the Bucs in a while. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, 15 of 24, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Saquon, 19 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, only 2 catches for 7 yards. I know a lot of people are saying that, like, he could get traded, and a lot of people are saying that, like, oh, the Pats should trade for him. That's not happening. He's not going anywhere. Even so, it doesn't really make sense for the Pats to trade for him, because then that's just going to screw up the chemistry. And like literally Howie Roseman will literally hang up the phone because we're not offering a first round pick for a guy who's 30 years old. Like, come on, let's calm down. Pats need to just roll with what they currently have. And yeah, like, what if the Eagles trade him away and they need him, but they don't have him, you know? So I don't see it happening. But Goddard, 4 catches, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. The defense was fine. Jahad Campbell with an interception. A lot of people, including myself, had drafting him, but apparently not. Baker, the Bucs did get back into it. 22 of 40, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Bucky Irving led the way in rushing. He also led the way in receiving. The receiving touchdown. Igbuka had a solid game. Chris Godwin came back. It's good to see him back. And the defense was all right. But yeah, Eagles are now 4-0, and the Bucs have their first loss. Okay, then we got the Bills versus the Saints. This game is actually a lot closer. If you watched it live, I was like, what are the Bills doing? Like, they should be like mopping the floor with the Saints team. But yeah, Spencer Rattler, 18 of 27, 126 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, 15 carries, 70 yards. Rashid Shaheed led the way in receiving yards. Chris Olave had a touchdown. Jonas Sanker with an interception. Yeah. Bills are now 4-0. They're the last AFC team undefeated. Josh Allen, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. James Cook, 22 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Allen with a rushing touchdown. Best quarterback in football. Khalil Shear, 5 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid with a touchdown. And Cole Bishop with a clutch interception. But yeah, Bills should be the favorites to win the AFC, especially with what's going on with the Ravens. The Lions beat the Browns. It's been confirmed that the Browns are going to start Dylan Gabriel this upcoming week. So Joe Flacco is pretty much done. He's just retired at this point. I mean, he's losing them games here. 16 of 34, 184 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Quinshon Judkins led the way in rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. Isaiah Bond led the way in receiving. 3 catches for 58 yards. Jerry Jeudy, 3 catches, 48 yards. And yeah, this defense is still good. It's just unfortunate it's getting wasted because the offense is not that great. Specifically the quarterback. But yeah, this team just needs a good quarterback, solid offensive line. upgrade the receivers, and this team can be a playoff team. Like they're a lot better than than they're being let on. Denzel Ward with an interception. I don't see any sacks here, but yeah, the Lions. The Lions are they're still here. They're 3-1 now, first in the division now. So yeah, Lions are not going away anytime soon. Apparently, 16-27, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Jahmyr Gibbs led the way in rushing with a touchdown. Amon-Ra led the way in receiving, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. The defense is pretty solid. They're going to be without DJ Reed for a bit, though, unfortunately. Or no, DJ Reader, excuse me. DJ Reed with an interception, and Kirby Joseph with an interception. But yeah, Lions are still a solid team. And this one was weird. Jaguars beat the 49ers. Felt both quarterbacks were not good. And I was watching it live, and Trevor Lawrence had an egregious interception where, like, he runs it, throws a pass, he throws it right to the 49ers defensive player, but it gets called back because of a penalty on the Niners. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But yeah, Jaguars are probably the most fraudulent 3-1 team I've seen so far. But Trevor Lawrence, 21-31, 174 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Travis Etienne, 19 carries, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Brian Thomas finally had a solid game, led the way in receiving. Travis Hunter, 3 catches, 42 yards. Hunter Long with a touchdown. And the defense, Devin Lloyd with 2 interceptions. Brock Purdy was not good in this game. He was really bad. Really bad. Trayvon Walker, solid. The Niners were not good, man. Purdy, 22-38, 309 yards. Don't let the stats fool you because he had 2 interceptions. So he was not very good in this game. 17 carries, 49 yards for McCaffrey. He also had a receiving touchdown along with Jake Tongs, whatever his name is. And the defense was eh. The Niners are not that good. And then Liam Cohen got into it with Robert Saleh at the end. Rams give the Colts their first loss. The Colts could have won this game if Adonai Mitchell didn't fumble or drop those, catches. But Daniel Jones, probably his worst performance of the season so far. But 262 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Jonathan Taylor the way in rushing yards. AD Mitchell, I know he just, called him out, but led the way in receiving yards, but should have absolutely caught that. Instead, turns it over. Tyler Warren, 5 catches, 70 yards. Pittman, 5 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. The defense was all right. A sack from Mekhi Blackman. But yeah, Colts, they got to prove that they can beat a good team. Stafford, he's got to stay healthy, but very good. 29-41, 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Kyron Williams led the way in rushing. Puka led the way in receiving yards. It's looking like he's on pace to win Offensive Player of the Year. 13 catches, 170 yards, and a touchdown. Tutu Atwell with a touchdown, and Devontae Adams with a touchdown. 2 interceptions from Cameron Curl. A sack from Jared Verse. Sack from Byron Young. The Rams' defensive line is very good. It's just the secondary kind of worries me. But yeah, Rams should win the West as long as they stay healthy, because it's not going to be the Cardinals and it's not going to be the Niners. So I think it either has to be the Rams or the Seahawks. But yeah. Bears scrape out a win against the Raiders. 312 yards, a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 14 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. Rome Odunze led the way in receiving with a touchdown. DJ Moore, only 4 catches for 38 yards. Rome Odunze looks like wide receiver 1. Kevin Byard with 2 interceptions. Tyreek Stevenson with an interception. Looking for sacks here. I don't think there was any. And then the Raiders, Geno Smith, horrendous game. 14 of 21, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He is a turnover machine. Gentry, 21 carries, 138 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Brock Bowers led the way in receiving. Gentry with 2 receiving touchdowns. So he had a very good game. Max Crosby with an interception. A sack from Tyree Wilson. But yeah, Raiders are not that good. They haven't won since the Pats game, which is making the Pats look worse, sadly. And oh my goodness, this game pissed me off. I was watching this live and I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. But yeah, the Ravens might be cooked. Lamar looked horrendous out there, and now he's injured and he's going to be out for a couple weeks. 14 of 20, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 6 carries for 48 yards. Justice Hill led the way in rushing with a touchdown. Derrick Henry didn't look that good. If you can't even beat the Chiefs at their worst, then I don't know what to tell you. Zay Flowers led the way in receiving. Justice Hill with a touchdown. D-Hop didn't really do anything. Apparently Marlon Humphrey's out for the year, which sucks. But yeah, not good for the Ravens. I think it's time to have that conversation to move on from John Harbaugh. I know that sounds crazy and all that, but it's about what have you done for me lately, not what did you do for me 13 years ago. Won a Super Bowl 13 years ago. Cool. But what's happened since then? Was the number 1 seed in 2019, lost to the Titans in the divisional. 2023, you were the 1 seed. You lost the AFC Championship at home against the Chiefs. Last year, you choked in Buffalo and lost to the Bills to a defensive head coach who chokes in defensive games. They need to move on from their defensive coordinator because this defense should not be allowing this much points with the players they have on there. Mahomes, 25-37, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. Worthy came back, led the team in receiving, rushing here, my fault. But yeah, he also led the team in receiving. Travis Kelce, probably his best game of the year so far. Hollywood Brown with a touchdown. Juju with a touchdown. Pacheco with a touchdown, and Patriots bust receiver Tyquan Thornton with a touchdown. An interception from Leo, a sack from George Karlaftis and Jerry Tillery. But yeah, Chiefs are now 2-2. The Ravens are now 1-3. And the NFL needs to fix this. First, hold on. Again, to Panthers first. My bad. All right, so Patriots win their first game at home in dominant fashion. Now, the opening drive pissed me off where they allowed Bryce Young to get a touchdown. I'm like, here we go again. But they missed the extra point, and the Pats pretty much took over from there. And the score should be 42-6. The Panthers looked absolutely horrendous. Bryce Young is just not it. He's just not good enough. I think this is pretty much it for him. 18 of 30, 150 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Andy Dalton got a touchdown in garbage time. Chuba Hubbard led the way in rushing. McMillan, 4 catches for 62 yards. Tommy Tremble with the touchdown. Mitchell Evans with the touchdown. The defense not good. They got like 1 sack. That's pretty much it. But Pats finally get a win at home. Now you gotta, the Pats needed this win badly because they needed to win at home after that horrendous performance against the Steelers and Raiders. And they don't play at home again until week 8 against the Browns, and that defense worries me. But Drake May is playing very well. Only threw the ball 17 times because they wanted to establish the run game. 203 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's playing very, very well. Ramondre led the way in rushing yards. Trayvon Henderson with a touchdown. Antonio Gibson with a touchdown. Drake May with a touchdown. He did the Cam Newton-Selly. That was a tribute because Cam Newton was his favorite player because he was a Panthers fan throughout, grade school. So people need to calm down. He was just paying homage to his favorite player growing up, Cam Newton. Receiving, Stephon Diggs finally had a good game. He was close to having his first touchdown, but he's probably going to get his first touchdown against the Bills, probably. But Diggs, six catches for 101 yards, no touchdowns. Hunter Henry, Mr. Old Reliable, 2 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown. And then Matt Collins had the other touchdown. He's a good red zone target. He's a nice, muscular X receiver that you want in the red zone. And then Christian Gonzalez returned finally. With him back, the defense should be a little bit better. But a sack from Kalavion Chasson. But yeah, hopefully this team can get turned around, and with the Ravens being banged up, that gives the Pats even more of a chance to get into the playoffs. But you got to get wins, and then Marcus Jones, man, set the tone immediately. He had a punt return touchdown, and then he had another big punt return that got the Pats into the red zone. Very good win for the Pats. They needed this badly. Because they are on a 3-game road trip for the next couple weeks. But yeah, now on to the Packers Cowboys games. This ticks me off. I hate the stupid tie shit. Okay, it should not be a tie. Okay, they need to implement the college football overtime thing. Because a tie, really, that's stupid. I'm sorry. Packers are not looking that good. Obviously, they got a lot of hype with the Micah Parsons trade, and then obviously Matthew Golden in the draft. Hey, they finally have another receiver. But yeah, other than Micah Parsons, the Packers defense does not look that good. They don't have a corner 1. Nate Hobbs is not a corner 1. He's a corner 2 at best. But they need a true corner 1. But their secondary is not. Neither team's secondary was good. But yeah, this was rough for both teams. Jordan Love, 143, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Josh Jacobs led the way in rushing yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. He also led the way in receiving yards. Matthew Golden, 5 catches, 58 yards. And then the defense, like I said, not good. Looks like they did not pick off Dak one time. But it was Romeo Doubs with all the touchdowns. And the Cowboys, Dak also had 3 touchdowns, 31 of 40, 319 yards. 85 rushing yards for Javonte Williams and a rushing touchdown. Dak also with a rushing touchdown. They're without CeeDee Lamb, but George Pickles, 8 catches, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jake Ferguson with a touchdown. Obviously, the defense is horrendous. That secondary is not good. James Houston had a sack. But yeah, both defenses were horrific in this game. I still think the Packers can win the division, but we'll have to wait and see. And then Dolphins-Jets, Monday night doubleheader. The Dolphins debuted their rivalry uniforms. Dolphins get their first win, but Tyreek Hill suffered a horrific injury. He snapped his leg. What the frick? I did not ask for that. Okay, whatever. Tyreek Hill suffered a brutal leg injury. He snapped his leg. Most likely done for the year, and this could be the end of his career. Very unfortunate. Tua, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Prayers out to Tyreek Hill. A-Chain led the way in rushing yards with a touchdown. Tyreek Hill led the way in receiving yards. Goes down with that leg injury. Waddle, 3 catches, 48 yards. Darren Waller in the Big 25 has 2 receiving touchdowns. And then the defense, a sack from Terrell Dotson, sack from Rajuel Douglas. Dolphins win their first game of the year. Jets go 0-4. Justin Fields, 20-27, 226 yards and a touchdown. Breece Hall the way in rushing yards. Fields with a rushing touchdown. Oh, actually, they were tied. Garrett Wilson, 6 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. And then the defense is just not that good. Rough game for the Jets. And then, my goodness, the Bengals need a quarterback. Like, holy crap, dude. 3-28. I know the Broncos' defense is good, but come on, Bengals. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. What is going on, dude? Like, Jake Browning is not it. You got to go out and get a quarterback. 125 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Chase Brown, 10 carries for 40 yards. T. Higgins, 3 catches for 30 yards. That's not going to cut it. Jamar Chase is getting locked up in this game. Holy moly. Demetrius Knight with an interception. Rough game for the Bengals. Like, they got to trade for a quarterback badly. Bo Nix had a bad interception, but he bounces back. 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. Absolutely cooks that horrendous Bengals secondary. J.K. Dobbins, 16 carries, 101 rushing yards. Touchdown from Bo Nix and Marvin Mims. Cortland Sutton leads the way in receiving with a touchdown. R.J. Harvey with a touchdown. Nick Bonito with 1.5 sacks. Very good player. A sack from John Franklin Myers. Jonathan Cooper. Broncos bounce back. Both teams are 2-2. Rough game for the Bengals. That will wrap up week 4. Yes, sir. Stranger Things is next month. What's up, Walking Dead Eternal? Yeah, let's get into our week 5 picks. Starting off with Thursday Night Football. We got the Rams hosting the 49ers division rivalry. I'm going to take the Rams. The Rams are just better. They're banked up with injuries. Obviously, no Joey Bosa for the year. But I am going to take the Rams 24-13. Rams improve 4-1. And then 49ers 3-2. Then another international game. We have the Vikings versus the Browns. I think the Vikings bounce back here. I think it's a winnable game for the Browns, but Dylan Gabriel making his debut. And obviously, like, I do not want to pick the Browns. Apparently, it's in London, I think. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Vikings to win this game. I think it'll be a defensive battle because both teams have good defenses. But I just think I like the Vikings more. Yeah, that game's early in the morning. The Saints versus the Giants. I know the Giants just lost Malik Neighbors, but they should be able to beat the Saints. The Saints are terrible. We'll say like say like 20-13 or something like that. Yeah, Giants should still be good enough to beat the Saints. Saints defense not that good. All right, and then I think Bucks bounce back against the Seahawks in a close game. Say like 27-24. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Bucks bounce back here. Got Ravens versus the Texans. Lamar's out. Give me the Texans. Probably in a low-scoring game, like 20-17, something like that. Then we got Raiders versus Colts. Give me the Colts in a bounce-back game. 30-21, something like that. All right, Cowboys, Jets. I got Cowboys beating the Jets. Jets are just not good. Cowboys offense can score, but their defense sucks. All right, Eagles, Broncos. I see the Broncos winning here, but I'm going to take the Eagles. It's like 21-18 or 21-16. But yeah, I think Broncos defense will be a good test for Jalen Hurts. Then Panthers, Dolphins. I could see Panthers winning, but I'm going to take the Dolphins here. Should be a high-scoring game. Because, you know, both offenses can score, but neither defense is good. Cardinals should mop the floor with the Titans. Say like 28-10. Should mop the floor with the Titans. Then Commanders, Chargers. Chargers should win. Say like by 10. Especially if Jaden Daniels still isn't playing. All right, and then the Lions should mop the floor with the Bengals. Say like 35-13, something like that. And then Sunday Night Football. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills host Drake May and the New England Patriots. Bills will be debuting their rivalry uniforms for this one. They got the ice uniforms. Some people think this is going to be close or something. I think Drake May will be good. But the Bills are too good. I got Bills winning belt to ass. I think Stephon Diggs will get his first touchdown against his former team, but I'm taking the Bills in a blowout until proven otherwise. But yeah. And then we got Monday Night Football. I'm going upset of the week. Give me the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Jaguars like 33-28. Jaguars upset the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I don't care if I get it wrong. Screw the Chiefs. Yeah, those are my week 5 predictions. But yeah, let's check out the chat. Yeah, I believe that's 5:45 my time. So yeah, I'll be on there for sure. But we're going to get into an NFL mock draft. So obviously the order is, based off of week 4 and what I think is going to happen. But yeah, I still got Saints getting the first pick. I think I did move the Titans up to the second pick. Yeah, Saints, they need a quarterback. I still got them taking Nussmeier. I think he will be the best QB in the class. I don't know why he's at 48, but okay. But I think he will emerge as the best quarterback in the class by the time we get to April. Titans, you already have your quarterback. I'll just go edge here. Ruben Bain from Miami. He's been pretty good. Jets obviously need a quarterback. I'm going to go Lenore Sellers here. He's got high upside. I think he's going to be pretty good. Dolphins, if you're picking this out, you might want to go quarterback, or I think they should just build up the roster better before they go quarterback here. They also need secondary and offensive line. So I'm actually going to go Spencer Fano here. But yeah, their offensive line and their secondary is not good. All right, Browns, I think they're going to go quarterback. Obviously, they have Shiller as the third string quarterback, so obviously he's not in their plans right now. Mendoza's been pretty solid. Then we got the Carolina Panthers. It's really bad. So they could go defensive line. Their defense is abysmal, so I think they need edge rushers, so we're going to go with TJ Parker. I think he's going to be really good. The Giants here, I think they need offensive line. So we'll go with Maui Goa. Right tackle out of Miami is pretty good. Raiders, I feel like they need another receiver. They also need secondary as well. But we'll go with Jordan Tyson, though. All right, the Bengals, they need secondary, especially safety. So we'll go Caleb Downs here. Obviously, that's Evan's dream target. Don't really blame him. But, all right, Texans need offensive line badly. So probably going to go with Dunker from Iowa. Then obviously the Cowboys need edge rusher really badly. So we'll go with Keldrick Falk from Auburn, top 10 prospect. The Rams at 12 via the Falcons. I need to go secondary here. I know they need a quarterback at some point, but they need a corner. Bears, you go Jeremiah Love here. Pretty easy for me. They need a running back. Cardinals could use some offensive help. We'll go with Mekhi Lemon from USC. He had a really good game this past weekend. 49ers, they do need offensive line, but they need some defensive help as well. So I think you go Peter Woods here. We could definitely go higher than this. Commanders need edge rusher or receiver. Or not receiver, just defense in general. So I'm probably going to go Lattimore's washed, so I'm going to go Avion Terrell. Corner out of Clemson. Clemson has a lot of good players. All right, Ravens, I move them down because they're so banged up defensively. We're going Mansoon Delane. They need secondary really badly. All right, the Browns have this pick via the Jaguars. I have them go quarterback. I'm going to have them take Denzel Boston out of Washington. All right, the Broncos need receiver help, but we're gonna have them go Kenyon Sadiq. They need a tight end. Patriots at 20. Offensive line could be the pick here. They need their future right tackle, but they also need a receiver. So I'm going to go Carnell Tate, Ohio State. I think he's going to be really good. Then the Vikings are interesting. They might just go BPA here, but I'm going to go AJ Harris from Penn State. They need secondary. They need corner depth. Seahawks could always look to improve the interior offensive line. So we'll go Connor Lew. They can keep him at center or move him into guard. The Colts is interesting. They could be in the market for a new quarterback if they decide not to bring back Daniel Jones. Because if he stays consistent and he's still good, I could see another team signing him. But we're going to take Caden Proctor for offensive line depth. The Bucks are interesting. They could go edge rusher. I'm going to have them go Anthony Hill if I can find him. There he is. I don't know why he's rated so low. But they need a replacement for Levante David. All right, Chiefs are interesting. I'm going to have them go Caleb Banks. Chris Jones is getting older. The Steelers, we're going to have them go get their quarterback. And I can find him, Drew Aller. Although he might go to the school another year. So we'll go Dante Moore instead. I think he's going to be solid. All right, Cowboys, obviously need to go defense. Probably go secondary, Colton Hood. Then the Lions, we'll go best BPA available, Christian Miller, defensive tackle. Chargers could go edge, but we'll go defensive tackle, Dominique Orange. Eagles, I think we go best player available. Probably get another edge rusher. The Rams, they got, I believe I gave them a secondary, right? Yeah, I did. So this is where they get their quarterback. They get Drew Aller, and they set him behind Stafford for a couple years. Then the Bills, I think they have plenty at secondary. So probably just go BPA. You can never have enough edge rushers because injuries happen all the time. Yeah, that's my mock draft for this week. Yeah, here's my mock draft for the week. I'll get into my NBA predictions. Just gotta reset something. Okay, so the Jonathan Kuminga thing is finally over. All right. On to our NBA predictions. Starting off with the Eastern Conference, it is crazy how wide open the East is this year. But last place, I'm going the Brooklyn Nets. Probably going to be the worst team in basketball. Their roster is just a mess, just all over the place. Cam Thomas on a qualifying offer. Nick Claxton, a trade candidate. They had 5 first-round picks. Instead of trading up with them, they took 3 guards. Don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, I did not like their draft at all, so I have them there. Then at 14, the Wizards. I think it'll be entertaining because of the young, core that they have. I think Alex Sarr will be good. Bob Carrington will be good. Trey Johnson from Texas is going to be really good. They have lots of versatile wings that can play defense, but they're just not there yet. But I think they'll be entertaining, because of the young team that they have. I like the rebuild that they have going. 13 is going to be the Bulls. If you're a Bulls fan, you want to be in the lottery. Like, you're sick of being in purgatory for the past several years. Like, they missed out on so many prospects. Wemby, some prospects from last year. They missed out on Cooper Flag. If Josh Giddey doesn't make that, buzzer beater to beat the Lakers, then Bulls get Cooper Flag, apparently. So he missed out on him. And this is a very good draft class. So I think this is the year you want to, tank and be bad. 12 going Charlotte. Charlotte has a lot of talent. They're just never healthy. That's the issue. Like, LaMelo was banged up last year. Brandon Miller was banged up last year. They probably have one of the worst center rotations in the league. But yeah, they're always injured. All right, and then 11, I am going the Celtics. Obviously, their best player being out for the whole year of the torn Achilles. They have the worst center rotation in the league. Neemias Queta and Luka Garza, Chris Boucher. This team's not going to be good. If you're the Celtics, you want to tank, you want to be bad because you want a top pick because this class is really good. You want to get a complimentary piece that will help Tatum and Brown long term. Probably going to move Anthony Simons at the deadline to clear up some money. But Celtics at 11, Pacers at 10. Pretty much in a similar situation to the Celtics. Obviously, their best player is out of an Achilles injury, and they lost Miles Turner to a division rival. So they're going to have a rough year. But I have them over the Celtics because I like their roster better. I think they have more depth that will help them. But, yeah. 9 spot, I am going the Bucks. Giannis should be able to, elevate this roster past its limitations. But if he gets hit with an injury, then this team's screwed because his number 2 option is Miles Turner. And then that's pretty much it. The supporting cast is horrendous around Giannis. I think this could be his last year in Milwaukee. But next we have the Raptors. I think the Raptors are a lot better than people think. I think they have a very competitive roster. We'll see how Ingram fits in with Scotty Barnes. He did not play a game last year because of injuries, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Then we got the Miami Heat. I think the Heat should implode, but we'll see. Especially with the Tyler Hero injury, that's not good. But Plus, they have a rough schedule, but I think once they're healthy, they actually have a decent roster. Then we have Philly. Philly's always banged up with injuries. So I don't know what that's all about, but yeah. And at 5, the Pistons. I think the Pistons are actually a solid team. I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for. Asar fully healthy, Jaden Ivey fully healthy. Obviously, you got Cade. You have a solid bench. Jalen Duren's a criminally underrated center. The Hawks, I'm not really buying the hype with the Hawks. Porzingis never stays healthy. Like, he plays less and less games as his career goes on. And plus, Jalen Johnson, is he going to stay healthy? Trae Young's going to have to step up. Zachary Richache, their first overall pick from a year ago, needs to step up. They have a decent bench. I like the Alexander Walker addition. But we'll have to see how health goes with them. Orlando, I think the Magic are a lot better than people give them credit for. They have their best starting 5 in years. Paulo's a legit superstar. Franz Wagner's really good, just needs to improve the three-point shooting. Desmond Bane, a career 40% three-point shooter. Jalen Suggs is going to be back. He's an excellent perimeter defender. Wendell Carter, criminally underrated, big part of why their defense is so good. They have a solid bench. Anthony Black is primed for a breakout year. 6'7" guard, can play the small forward spot if you need him to. Tyus Jones is a solid shooter. Jonathan Isaac lost a ton of weight. That he gained weight last year that screwed him over. He shed all that weight this year. Mo Wagner should be back. Franz's brother, he was playing very well before he tore his ACL. Jace Richardson's going to be a nice pick. He's a good shooter. But yeah, I think the Magic will make the East Finals at least. Then we got the Knicks. I don't really trust the Knicks all that much. Didn't really change their starting lineup any. They hired Mike Brown. I like their bench a little bit better, but I don't trust the Knicks. And of course, we have the Cavs at 1. The Garland injury definitely does suck. So it'll be a while until he's back, but they did trade for Lonzo, who should take his place. In the meantime, still got Donovan Mitchell. We still got Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's great. DeAndre Hunter's good. Jarrett Allen's a good rim protector. They have a decent bench. But yeah, the Cavs right now look like the best team in the East until proven otherwise. But I mean, there's a chance that the Magic get the 1 seed because of the Garland injury, and the Knicks are going to have to learn an entirely new system because of a new coach. Those are my East standings for the year. Onto the West, which is a war zone. I think Utah is clearly the worst team in the West. I think Ace Bailey will be good. I think Markkanen will get dealt at the trade deadline along with Walker Kessler because apparently they don't want to give him an extension. But yeah, Jazz have a lot of young talent, so we'll see how it goes for them. Then at 14, the Suns. Yeah, I think the Suns are going to be that bad. Devin Booker looked like he did not want to be there, so this could be his last year in Phoenix. I think Malawach will be good, but Suns' roster is just not good enough to compete in a jam-packed Western Conference. New Orleans, Zion shed a ton of weight, but he's always injured, so you have to keep that in mind. But they got Jordan Poole. They traded their first in 2026 for Derek Queen. I still don't like that trade. But yeah, health is going to play a big factor. Kings are just so mid. They're the definition of mid. So I have them there. And then the Blazers, I think they could sneak into the play-in. But, Scoot's got to be good. He's dealing with an injury. Shaedon Sharp's got to stay healthy. I think Donovan McClellan's really good. Dame's not going to play at all this year, but I think they've built up the roster very nicely. during his absence. So when he does come back next year, he's going to have the best supporting cast out of any Blazers team that he's been on. I'm going to take the Spurs at 10 because they just don't have a lot of shooting around Wemby. I think Wemby will be good and will be the second best center in the league behind Jokic. But I just don't love the supporting cast. I think Dylan Harper is going to be too good to bring off the bench. So they might have to move Castle into a 6-man role or move him to the 3. But we'll see. Then the Grizzlies, I think they're going to have a bit of a gap here. They traded away Desmond Bane, which if you're getting 4 firsts for Bane, I think you have to take an offer like that. But they're dealing with so many injuries. Zach Edey's injured. Jaren Jackson's dealing with an injury. Can Ja Morant stay healthy? How's KCP going to look? So I think this is kind of going to be like a gap year, a retooling year for the Grizzlies. Then we got the Warriors, who just re-signed Jonathan Kuminga. They signed Al Horford. They signed Steph's brother, Seth Curry. They brought back DeAnthony Melton. They brought back Gary Payton Jr. Al Horford doesn't play back-to-backs, so that's going to be an issue. Everyone accuses the Clippers of the UNC squad. I think the Warriors are the real UNC squad. But yeah, I'm going to take Dallas as the 7 seed. They have a lot of depth, but health's a big concern. Kyrie's out for most of the year. So D'Angelo Russell is going to be there at point guard. Anthony Davis is injury prone. And Cooper Flagg's going to have a lot of pressure because, number 1 overall pick, he's probably going to have to be the lead scorer for most of the year. And that's a lot to put on a rookie. So I have them as a 7 seed. They could be better because of the depth, but, it's all about health. Lakers, I don't think they're that good. Their defense not that good. Ayton only plays well when he's motivated, and he's just not a good defensive big man. He's not a good rim protector. He can rebound for you, he can score in the paint, but he's more of an offensive big rather than a defensive big. Then we have the other LA team, the Clippers. Obviously, lots of controversy because of the whole Kawhi thing, which that'll probably just be a slap on the wrist. But I just think they have a better roster than the Lakers, and they have much better defensive players. Then up for the Rockets, I originally had them at 3. But the Van Fleet injury really impacts that. It's a huge loss for them. KD is going to be like their main scorer, and that's a lot of pressure to put on him. Unless if Amen can develop a jump shot, unless if Reed Shepherd can take a leap, or if they can just go out and try to get a replacement point guard, but they can't financially do that. So who knows? Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but just a tough blow for the Rockets. So I have to move Minnesota to number 3. I think they're better than people think they are. Obviously, the obviously Alexander Walker leaving definitely does stink, but I think Terrence Shannon will step into that role. You got year 2 of Julius Randle and DiVincenzo. A lot of people think DiVincenzo is going to start at point guard. I don't know why people are disrespecting Mike Conley. I understand he's old, but come on. Anthony Edwards going to have another great year. Jaden McDaniels, excellent perimeter defender. Naz Reid's a good 6-man. I think Juan Behringer is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's going to be really good off the bench. Had a great summer league. Probably going to be the future at center for them once Rudy Gobert is done. But yeah, they have a solid bench. I think Robert Dillingham can have a good year. But yeah, I think the Wolves are a lot better than people think. Nuggets at 2, love their offseason. Got rid of MPJ's contract, got Cam Johnson as a much better player, more reliable player there. They got Tim Hardaway Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, Bruce Brown is back. Their bench is a lot better than it was last year, so I think they're going to be a lot better team. Then we got the Thunder at 1. Obviously, they have the best roster in basketball. They have a plethora of first-round picks they can use in a trade. Yeah, Thunder are the best team in the league until proven otherwise. Yeah, those are my West standings. These are my East standings. But yeah, it should be a pretty interesting year for basketball. Hey, what's up, Noah? Wolves to the finals. Yeah, I could see it for sure. Third time's the charm, right? But yeah. I know MLB playoffs is going on right now. And MVP, I could see it for sure. Be able to do quick MLB playoff prediction. I know there's some games going on right now. Yeah, I think Dodgers beat the Reds. They'll probably split. And you got the Cubs versus the Padres, I think. That'll probably split. And then we got Cleveland versus Detroit. I can see Detroit winning, but I'm going to go Cleveland. I think Yankees sweep the Red Sox. So that's the wild card, I think. Then we got Brewers versus Cubs. Brewers, I believe, have the best record in baseball, but I'm going to go Brewers here. You got Phillies versus Dodgers. I think that'll be a good series. I'm going to have the Dodgers win, though. Then you got Toronto versus New York. Toronto's very good. I think it'll be a good series. I'm going to have Toronto win. Then we got Seattle versus Cleveland. I'll go Seattle here. Then championship series. You got Milwaukee versus the Dodgers. I think that'll be a good series. But I'm going to have the Dodgers win that one. Then you got Toronto versus Seattle. That'll be a good series. I'm going to have Toronto win. And you got Toronto versus LA. I think it goes to Game 7. I got Toronto winning. But we'll see how it pans out. No, I did not watch WNBA. Looks like they're headed towards a lockout season, though, after this year. Then one more thing I wanted to do. ESPN put out their top 100 NBA players list, and it is atrocious. Yeah, they had RJ Barrett make it. Obviously, Castle's unranked last year. Walker Kessler's too low. Pritchard's too high, in my opinion. You have Alexander Walker, PJ Washington. Okay. All right, Naz Reid's too low. Naz Reid had a good year last year. Why did he go down? That doesn't make sense. All right, Wiggins, Zach Edey's injured. Okay, Bradley Beal. I know people, crap on him because he wasn't good for the Suns. It's because of the contract. He was getting paid way too much, but he's a good player. You have Ivy there. Okay, Tobias Harris over Bradley Beal is ridiculous. Okay. Bradley Beal's a better basketball player than Tobias Harris. Let's just relax. DeRozan, Kamara's good. Ingram didn't play at all last year, but okay. Brandon Miller was injured. Jaden McDaniels, I think it's fine where he's at. Kobe White. Okay, MPJ over DeRozan's ridiculous. Josh Hart over DeRozan's ridiculous. Avia. You have Neesmith. Lou Dort. Okay, Braun over LaMelo is ridiculous. Zion at 61. Okay, Jalen Suggs, I think he's fine where he's at. Miles Turner. I'll take Miles Turner over Hartenstein. Paul George at 54. Okay, Flag at 52 is too high. He hasn't played a game yet. And Draymond at 51 to round off. Yeah. On to number 50. Okay, number 50, Porzingis. A bit too high. Should be lower. Rudy Gobert over Porzingis, I agree with. Embiid at 47, way too low. As much as I don't like Embiid. See, you have Jarrett Allen over Embiid. That makes no sense. Markkanen, a little too high. Julius Randle at 42, OG at 40, Aaron Gordon at 40, Desmond Bane at 39, Garland at 38, Amen had a good year, Zubac had a good year. Sabonis, I think he's fine where he's at. Oh my God, stop. All right. Jaws way too low. Wagner, I think he's fine where he's at. Jaren's too low. Okay, Scotty Barnes over Jaren, really? Okay, Trae Young's way too low. Maxi's fine where he's at. Cat's fine where he's at. Okay, Derek White over Trae Young. What are we doing? Like, seriously? Okay, Şengün, fine where he's at. Chet's too low. James Harden's fine where he's at. Siakam. Kawhi is way too low. Okay, Jaylen Brown over Kawhi. What are we doing? Okay, Jimmy Butler is fine where he's at. Paulo's way too low. Booker's way too low. Mitchell's way too low. 80, I guess he's fine. Mobley's not better than 80. Come on now. What are we doing? Like, why do people glaze the shit out of Jalen Williams? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is so special about him? Like, I do not get it. But yeah, on to the top 10. Top 10, and that'll round it off. Okay, Brunson at 10, fine. Kevin Durant at 9. LeBron at 8, fine. Curry, fine. All right, Ant at 6. Probably should be top 5, but it's fine. All right, Wemby at 5. Can we relax? He missed the end of the season with blood clots. I understand that's not his fault, but and I'm sure he'll be top 5 by the end of the year. But come on, it's way too early. Relax. All right, Giannis at 4 is too low. All right, Luke at 3. Shea at 2. I know he just won MVP, but let's just calm down. And then 1, Jokic, I agree. He's the best player in basketball. But yeah, that's going to do it for this stream. I will be back for Network episode 200. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys later tonight. Peace out.